through what we saw yesterday in our K&N Filters knockout. She's celebrating Vaughn Ginn Jr. because guess what? Old Captain Clutch Kick is back. Formula Drift, he took a year off, but comes back at it with our #1 qualifier, and he's going against Robert Thorn, aka the Thorn Dog. Here we go. Your big initiation there from that Monster Energy Nitto tire. Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD pulls away from Robert Thorn. Thorn, I was talking to him earlier in the driver's meeting. Vaughn does get into the dirt. He looks a little more Brocky than his Ford Mustang. Talking about that Ultra 4 racing that he's been doing with him and his Lauren Healy teammate, RTR. All right, transitioning now back up to the clip. Robert Thorn had such a knockout season. But right now, it's obviously clear as day. It's warm. You know, the grip does grip up, so changes throughout the day. Again, a traditional road racer, but now he's looking strong up front. Robert Thorn, Vaughn Ginn Jr. slides to the side of him. Look at that. The intergalactic planetary. Look at that. Looks like a Beastie Boy for sure. Gets to the side of Thorn into that second inside clip. Now outside of that keyhole, rips it around, down back to hill, past that touch and go, and there is the last inside clip. I'll tell you what, Vaughn Ginn Jr. gets the win. Again, a year off. Man, there's no side-by-side, so they're a very talented family from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sorensen will lead as Brandon Sorensen qualified 16th, Alec Robbins 17th, fairly equally matched. Brandon Sorensen coming into view. Down the hill, Brandon, Alec a little bit looser there. You saw he slid past Brandon Sorensen. High-flying Sorensen into that second outside zone. Barely gets that front end of the outside zone into inside clip 2. Now transitioning back down the hill. Past that touch and go, and then into inside clip 3. There goes Sorensen and Robbins back up the hill. Sorensen to the screen just so the viewer can kind of see what we're talking about if something's off screen, but traditionally they're right there. That's a place that's really heavily focused on.
Huge, because commitment is key coming up that hill.
Here we go, Alec Robbins out front, he gets in the dirt, he saw a little brown cloud. Now they're gonna run up the hill. Let's see if he executes what you're talking about, Ryan. Gets in that first outside zone, into the second outside zone. Boom, he does exactly what you said. Fills about 3/4 of that thing, tightens it up to inside clip 2, now exiting out. Really well done there, Brandon Sorensen. You thought he was going to hit the dirt, but it seems like that front left. Alec Robbins, I mean, maybe a spotter did a good job. Alec Robbins gets the win, and I think it came down. The Mr. Cool BMW gaining a new title sponsor. Laid over that nice carbon Kevlar kit, but right now, Kazuya Taguchi, ISR Performance, up garage. GT Radial 86. Ooh, a little correction there. That was an interesting one. Oh boy! All right, this.
I think for me that is not, because it occurred on track. There was nothing specific that he hit. He was just simply initiating on what we consider the track surface, so he's not allowed to replace that tire, unfortunately. So here is Jonathan Hurst on his bye run. And
this is a great car to lay out and listen to the Mr. Cool Cash Racing BMW. Listen to this thing, pop and bang. Jonathan Hurst makes his way in.
Maybe I should check it out.
Yeah, it's kind of a wild time. I know you don't drink, but you might want to after that. Matt Field, he's ready to throw down. Here we go. Matt Field, big initiation from him into that first inside. Whoa, Dean Carnage comes out of angle, gets into the kitty litter. Matt Field does continue on. Matt Field continues on into that second outside zone. He does throw some dirt. The GT Radio, a little gravel machine gun. Unfortunately, Dean Carnage Carney made that mistake very early on. As long as Matt Field keeps it with the rubber meets the road, which he does, that will be a major advantage.
It just has to be what you do, you know, without any thought. So it has to be as easy as walking.
Here we go, Dean Carnage Carney. Speaking of walking down the hill, Matt Field initiates. He knows he's got a little bit of an advantage here. And with Dean Carnage washing out on that first run, he might pedal it back, temper the flame, turn it down to about a 7.5 or an 8, and there he goes into the dirt. We did see that from Field earlier, but with Dean Carney going off course earlier, he knows he has that advantage. Oh, big snap there from Carnage. Heads up the hill, puts a little exclamation point on that run. Make it official, slide him left for Matt Field in that Corvette.
You know, to be back, and it just felt good, you know, last year, step back and just kind of breathe a bit and watch and study and, you know, come out here and just drive my heart out. And it's really cool. It's a very different perspective. You know, I'm not thinking about Irwindale right now. I'm not being as strategic as I normally would be. I'm just in the moment, every run, throwing it out there as hard as I can. It feels incredible, like the vibe, the fans, the love that I'm receiving right now, and on social and just coming back. I'm really grateful. And my goal tonight is to represent.
You're talking about Darren Kelly and the Aston Martin, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So Darren Kelly from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yes, sir. Darren Kelly out front, the heart of racing, which both does road racing as well as obviously drifting. Darren Kelly, a great ambassador for not only Aston Martin heart of racing, but also New Zealand. So look at that, pulling away. Ulla Jaeger, Japan Auto, another Norwegian driver, that Mark IV Super, great looking car. Darren Kelly looking really good, and just such a beautiful exhaust note, right? I mean, you gotta love an exotic out here on track, and now brings around that final clip. Ulla Jaeger didn't look 100%. Martin lives to see another day. Darren Kelly advances on a 16.
This is a big jump, I think, for him to such a high horsepower car.
Here we go, Diego Higa will lead, Taylor Hull giving chase. I mean, come on, he's practically wearing a cowboy hat in the cockpit of that Corvette. Diego Higa initiates into that first inside clip. Let's see how Higa handles it. Taylor Hull needs to gain some ground here. Higa, he gets very disrupted by going off course. Higa goes in that second outside zone. Taylor Hull does gain some ground with his Kenda tires, ripping up into that second. And Diego Higa shuts it down. That's going to be an incomplete. You see his hand go out Corvette. So Diego, he's leaving just way early. Taylor's like, whoa, that's way early. But yeah, I think Diego's just gonna go through the course. Maybe shake things down and see what's going on. Hopefully, just not 100% on power. All right, so Taylor Hull, as long as he completes the course. Taylor Hull in the comp cams. Corvette gets the win. Your Georgia boy advances on. Turk, he will be leading qualified 5th. Christos Blush had to go to his Q2 run in that HGK GT Radio vehicle. Ryan Turk, Rain-X, Toyota GR Corolla, banging doors in the Rockstar Pilot on some Nitto tires. But Ryan Turk continues on in that Toyota GR Corolla, gets that second outside zone, gets into the dirt. Christos Blush getting aggressive. Ryan Turk counters back outside of the keyhole. Wow, Christos making his presence felt after 5 years of absence. I'll tell you what, that was not that.
He's in the chase. Christos bumped him at initiation a few times and caused them to go check their cars out. So here we go with run 2.
Christos Blush, HGK, Eurofighter, BMW, GT Radial tires. Now past that inside clip, let's see how they transition in. And like you said, will Ryan Turk retaliate or will he kill him with kindness? Oh, look at that. You see him go in on the inside. Don't know if there's contact there. Want to run that back. Looks like he might have gotten aggressive and then has to back off. This is a big shock to Ryan Turk's system here. I got to tell you, I don't think that Christos did anything to warrant it. Gets the win over, always a crowd favorite, Ryan Turk. And unfortunately, should be a really fun one to watch if they show up like I know they can. Let's see what we got. Mike Power initiates. Daniel Stuckey, a little handbrake pull there for Power. He powers out into that inside clip, punting out of the way. Stuckey, look at that. Just the grappling hook on the side of Mike Power. A little bit shallower on that outside zone too, but now dives in. Into inside clip 2, and they're gonna bring it down. The Vitor tires getting on the box at their first round of competition.
Really solidly lapped.
Ryan laid it out. Again, Ryan Lontaine, one of 3 judges here, alongside Brian Egger and Chris Yule. Stuckey initiates. Look at Mike Power with even deeper aggressive angle. Is that the right approach? See, look at that. See, he threw so much angle at it, he kind of lost some ground. So Daniel Stuckey fills all that second outside zone. Mike Power has to forego that, but now watch. He's going to try to come back here. The M-Spec Performance S chassis out front. Mike Power, very aggressive driving there. Likes how he unanimously, Stuckey. So unfortunately, I mean, was that kind of the big? Let's see how, again, the rotary versus that 2JS chassis. Great looking car. A lot of green on track. The grass in the cars and green all over. Forrest Wang zips past that inside clip. Look how settled that car is, man. Really good. I mean, you barely saw any chrome. The tire tread was pointed right out. Oh, buddy! Kyle Mohan nosing in.
Wow, Kyle Mohan got ahead of Forrest Wang there and really started bumping.
First 99. Wang will be chasing down the Mazda Tricks Renewable Lubricants RX-8. Yellow Speed Racing NRG. Get Nuts Laboratory S15. And here comes the Lone Rotary up the hill. Looking strong. Forrest Wang back there quite a bit. Needs to gain some ground. He did have, you know, that contact. I'm talking about Kyle Mohan against Wang, but Wang really needs to kind of step up here and get that proximity. I wouldn't call that an inactive
win based on the prior incomplete from Kyle Mohan.
How they run. Chris Forsberg, one of the OGs, been out here since 2004, has always campaigned a Nissan since day one. Nissan power plant and Nissan chassis. Now coming past that inside clip, Chris Forsberg says the car's feeling good, that VR power that's got the GTR engine. Oh, and Castro looks like he slides off. He slides to the side. That's going to be an incomplete for Castro. And Forsberg completes on, and that will be a major advantage. Whoa, almost overshoots it there. The camera's being pulled off. That means Castro is retired. The signature throat chop there, unfortunately for Jonathan Castro, he is out. But let's listen to this VR Power NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z on GT Radials. Here, he qualified high. RCP, the Garagistic BMW. Let's see this Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota Supra on Nitto Tires. Big initiation there for Frederick Osmo. He is your back-to-back and three-time champion. He's your defending champion coming in that first outside zone. But Rome, right there. And look at that. He is definitely part of the conversation. Mimicking the angle. That was proper execution. Osmo finds a little bit more grip coming back down that hill. Maybe Rome getting a little bit too much breathing room in order to create that gap. And he's really gained a lot of ground over the years. And obviously proof of that is he's currently second in points. RCP, Garagistic BMW E36 coming down the hill. But he is going against our three-time and defending back-to-back Formula Drift champion, Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osmo. The hammer being dropped, lifting up to that second outside zone. RCP, now watch this. This is where the veterans really shine here. The way they manage that distance and allow them to pass, but then gain that ground. Going from that, Osmo gets the win. Hey, here's that he's ever been in, and he was driving the wheels off this thing, but he's going against Trent Beecham. He's got a new ride, he's got a new speed. This Blonex. Next in tires, BMW, massive angle there from him. Backs it in, massive angle. Look at Trent Beecham. He was right there, all up in that smoke, into that second outside zone, and that second inside clip. I mean, James Dean is driving this like he's driven it his entire life. People would dream about drifting like this, and this is second ever event. Welcome back, James Dean, to Formula Drift. Trent Beecham coming down the hill. Little straight line approach, handbrake in that first clip. Now coming up the hill is Beecham, James Dean on pace. Into that second outside zone. How do they manage? Oh, look at that. James Dean, a bit of a hookup, diving in on the inside. Having some issues there is James Dean. And James has an issue from that outside zone too. What went wrong? And we talked about, again, both of them having mistakes, incomplete. Nick Novak giving chase, that Jerry Yang Racing BMW. Coming down the hill, Odi Bakshi initiates. Almost identical angle there from Bakshi and Novak. Now into that first outside zone. Look how settled that car is. Nick Novak almost has a beeline towards that second outside zone. Now attacks onto the second inside clip. And Odi Bakshi completes and rounds it out as Novak overshoots it, gets it. Last night, they've been coming here for 13 years, so that's quite a bit of time as well. But they're looking to continue their success here today and tonight. Nick Novak, Odi Bakshi, Novak shreds off that back bumper. Odi Bakshi now chasing down Novak into that first outside zone. You can see Now coming to that second outside zone. Here goes Nick Novak. Gets into the dirt, but pedals back. Novak dives in on that second inside clip into the keyhole. Now out to the touch and go and that final inside clip. Advances on through it into the top 16. Congratulations. BC Racing, Mustang RTR Spec 5 FD on Nitto tires. Chelsea Denofa coming down the hill. Say howdy, get rowdy. Little Monty entry for Chelsea Denofa. Big angle from Denofa coming up the hill. I know they swapped the engine last night. They had some issues, but it seems to be 100% right now. Gets into the dirt, a lot of dirt. Wow, he hung it out there for quite some time. The sand people getting blasted right here in front of the judges stand. And now into that final inside clip. Chelsea, man, he was just
going into the lead, needs to get deep in zone 1 without dropping a tire in zone 2. So deep in 1, deep in 2, he should be able to best Chelsea.
Tighten it up, dial it in, put a bow on it. Travis Reeder past that inside clip. Thought Chelsea would be a little bit more on the side of Travis Reeder as they go into that second outside zone. That's what you're talking about. Reeder did what he needed to do. Does Chelsea have it? He transitions out. Keeping a consistent distance is Chelsea Denofa, but not exactly the aggressive Denofa. One more time, and there you go. OMC across the board. Dylan Hughes, Royal Purple. He's running the 2J under the hood of the Royal Purple BMW. I'm gonna have some words with him at halftime as well. Oh my gosh. Oh my gooshy. Gooshy over-rotates, and that will be an incomplete. Dylan Hughes does need to continue, so the dozer will need to continue through the course. He will have an advantage as long as he keeps it sideways. And he does. So Dylan Hughes, the needle just
due to that. We'll see what happens here if he was able to fix it.
Yeah, that gets a little hairy there on initiation for Dylan Hughes. You know, how much does he commit? Because if that car snaps back and Dylan's right there, you don't want to get taken out. But it looks like Dylan Hughes does continue on. Ken Gucci into that second outside zone. He fills all of it. Now, Royal Purple BMW, you can see him nosing on in. Whoa, he stays into it. And now, coming down into that final front flip. Hughes advances on. Kenshiro Gucci, the bodies. Olsen coming down the hill. Vortex charge LS. Initiates in front of Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones going with that straight line approach. That Evo AutoWorks Nissan 370Z. Talk about another driver that's really progressed. Jones, but not progressing to the side of Simon. Needs to get that proximity. See if that big drift energy shows up. Jeff Jones on the lead. Simon Olsen in the chase position. Jeff, you can see those things fire up. Well done by Jones. Olsen jumps right to the side of Jones. Simon Olsen's second ever event in an S chassis and an LS chassis. Both these guys run an LS supercharged. Jeff Jones, great job there, filling all that second outside zone. Simon Olsen dives in, but unfortunately came in a little too hot and had to back off. So you saw him fall out of angle. You saw Simon dive in unanimously. Jeff Jones gets the win.
Put together solid lead and chase runs so they can find a winner.
And also feature that X factor, which has become so apparent and a criteria that we're looking for. And we know both these guys have it. Chelsea Denofa initiates, barely nudges that inside clip. Now up the hill into that first outside zone. Second outside zone goes Chelsea. Travis Reeder. He's got great proximity. And there you see Chelsea rip away, hitting that rev limiter. Oh, wow, Travis Reeder shuts it down. Reeder and that Nicholas.
He really used the angle in the vehicle to slow down and did it really precisely.
All right, here we go as we are taking a look. Travis Reeder initiating. Chelsea Denofa in the chase position. Travis Reeder needs to put down a heater of a run. Travis, the heater Reeder, now blazing a trail up to that second outside zone. Fills all of it, Chelsea Denofa. Out of the keyhole, and Reeder with that wide swing. See that line? He kind of went wide and then tightened it up to that touch and go. And Chelsea kept pace. So unfortunately,
It's on as all 3 judges choose Chelsea Denofa.
Chelsea Denofa gets the win. Gushi has that incomplete right there on initiation he talked about. Unfortunately, some steering issues. We'll see.